All right, so we are live and you are watching me here. Let me quickly share this video link with my community. All right, we are live and all right. Welcome to Unlocking EQ Brain Skills series. And my name is Brinda Karan Raman, and you're watching me for the day 18, right? And we have been discussing about a lot of skills in depth and wider. And if you're new to EQ, emotional intelligence, this is oh, let me just put me in unmute so that it doesn't disturb me. You will not hear me multiple times. So okay. All right. If you've been watching me live every day for the 18 days now, um, you would by now know that we are approaching emotional intelligence through brain skills, brain talents, in order to be aware of what your left brain and right brain already is enabling you. There could be many talents existing in you already, and there are a lot of improvements area that we all have to learn and equip ourselves. So this 100 days of learning emotional intelligence through brain skills will definitely help us to understand the loopholes, the missing elements, and be able to develop ourselves. Now, in this episode, this entire series, I will pick up a topic, a particular skill, not just that the entire 100 days we will be learning new 100 skills, but instead we will go deeper and wider, picking up a skill. So like that we would have seen starting from resilience, logical emotional resilience, emotional insight, emotional agility, critical thinking, resilience for that matter, who's needed, for who it is needed, leadership, parenting, or entrepreneurs. And similarly, we started looking at problem solving needed for parents, um, leadership and entrepreneurs. And we also saw critical thinking deeper and wider. Today, we are in a topic where it is very interesting for a busy mom like you and me. How can we use creative problem solving for better parenting and smoother life? Okay. Without much delay, I would be opening up my presentation. For somebody who's really visually, oriented, this will be for you. This is a visual treat where you will, see 6 steps in learning these in a presentation format. The format for this series is for, starting from definition till the call to action will be in the format of 6 steps, where we will pick up a definition, where we will decipher how is it related to brain skills. You pick up anything, any skill, and how do we approach through left brain and right brain? Okay. Like resilience for that matter. We approached how logical resilience works and emotional resilience work. Similarly, we are in problem solving. We are going to look at creative problem solving. Yesterday, day before yesterday, we saw how logically we approach it. So similarly, what is your understanding of any skill? Okay, via your left brain and right brain. And then we will see the pros and cons. What happens if you have it as an advantage? And what happens if you overuse? Because we are talking about brain skills, it is important that you don't overdo it. Now, what happens when you overdo it? Ideally, any skill for that matter, if it is overdone, it will only be 1 minute. If somebody is jumping in live, let me know. I will be more than happy to welcome you. Okay. All right. So I can see one person in here. All right. Okay. So if the screen is not visible, I will just present it once more just to make sure that it is visible. There we go. All right. Okay. I just want to make sure that it is visible. All right. So in order to um, perform the skill or learn or improve the skill, you need to understand in life what happens when you overdo. By the time you want to rewire your brain, you have to work any skill for that matter. You'll have to go to gym. It's like your fitness. You'll have to consistently work on it so that that particular muscle gets worked out. Similarly, your brain. By the time you start working on it, before it gets into autopilot mode, you'll have to quickly rewire that to midbrain, because overly logic, overly emotional driven is not suitable for any situations, right? Maybe you are in a very intense situations where it is needed to be addressing somebody is terminally ill, or somebody, uh, you know, maybe it's a special child where you need to not always logically drive because it is not possible. So they need to be catered. At that time, maybe working on your emotional brain in order to cater them creatively or address their emotions, you need to be highly agile and insightful to understand their body language and needs and wants. Apart from that, normal life, you need to be quickly able to blend with logic. Because when we are talking about, essentially why we are talking about critical thinking or problem solving is to make you a good decision maker. In order to become a problem solver, in order to become, a good decision maker, the decision have to be led by logic, but backed up by emotion. It has to be done in the prefrontal context, which is a midbrain. Suppose you are driven by emotions, it is only going to be impulsive. On that note, it is important, highly important, to learn how to think out of the box, how your creativity in problem solving can reduce your stress and family stress, and also strengthen family bonds. In this angle, we'll see how problem solving creatively can help your parenting much easier and more rewarding. On that note, we will see what is creative problem solving is all about, first of all. Innovative solutions using non-traditional approaches to address everyday parenting challenge. Simple as it is. Okay, we are all dealing. In fact, today, um, Generally, after pros and cons, we will get into, what is the importance and who needs it. And then we will get into actionable, strategies. Then we will also get into a case study. But today, what I'm going to be doing is today there is no case study because as a parent, we already know we are doing it anyway, whether we learn it from our parents or grandparents or people around us. By the time you have become a parent, you're bound to be working on it, whether you want or not, whether you know it or not. We all do it. We all keep our hands, um, we get that hands-on experience by doing it. That is why today a classic example for a case study is you and me. Because if you are a parent, by the time your child grows to a toddler, you would have become an experienced parent for a young mother. Okay? If you are a parent of a mid schooler or a high schooler, you're an experienced mom for a elementary kid. Okay, that is how parenting evolves. According to the day and age that we are in, we pick up the strategies. So here, strategies could be common. You would have gone through this anyway. That is why the reason we are picking up the principles behind why we are doing what we are doing and how are we going to develop emotional intelligence in that. That will be covered in this session. You will get to know strategies where you can blend both logic and creativity. Because once you know that, you're just going to fill up those missing elements. That's all. Because everything is in you already. You're anyway working on it. Maybe you're here and there, you're, observing it and adapting it. But if you essentially know that when you creatively problem solve, what are the impacts and what is the impact in you? When you logically problem solve, what is the impact? Then you will understand this. Whenever you deal with any kind of situation, you will appropriately blend either using logic or creativity. That's all is the essence of this entire series. The idea is not strategies everybody know. Okay, this is not a what do you call? This is not a business module where we'll give you the tools and strategies according to the algorithms or whatever is trending and all that. But this is evergreen. This should work because all of us have brain, all of us have two sides brain activated. It is just that we are not aware of it, that this is a strength in us. That is why I help you with a lot of awareness tips and quizzes and all that. So by listening to me 100 days, you would be even more functional, optimally functional by using both the sides of your brain. And that's all I'm aiming for. With that note, let's see what happens with the left brain analysis. While we are talking about creativity in problem solving, let's look at the left analysis, the logic analysis. Assessing problems logically to understand their root causes. Only when you know what is the problem, exactly what is the problem, you can even think about solutions. Am I right? Suppose you are not aware of the problems. You are not able to distinguish what exactly is the problem. Either you are biased, you're assuming something, you're not equipped, you do not know what's happening outside, and you are trying to do the same thing to find different results. It's not going to work, right? Either you should be aware that there are ways to experiment, or you by yourself want to break open all that assumptions and start doing something. We all do it. It's not that we do not know. We always try this. There are many things in life we are just left open to explore, right? Typically marriage. How many of us will have marriage experiences? Yeah. First marriage is first marriage, right? First relationship is first relationship. First child is first child. First school is first school, right? For that matter, first career is first career. So every time we do have, all of us go through this first time things. Even a successful business person would have started something first time. So on that note, the creativity is already, the wisdom is already in you. You just, in this series, you're deciphering to see, okay, if I operate from this side, my strength or this. If I operate from this side of the brain, this is my strength. Or the other way around. Maybe this is my strength. That means I'm more right brain. Now, what is the use of knowing only the right brain and left brain? Suppose you know that you are dealing with people, immediately what should come to your mind is emotions, emotional insight, emotional cues, emotional agility, emotional awareness, emotional literacy, right? Emotional processing has to happen. And day in and day out, if you have been watching this, you will immediately pick up, your brain will recall that. Suppose you are dealing with a board meeting or a high stake um, decision, whether it is outside family or within the family. Now, what will happen? You will have to pick up the left brain, logical assessment, or because already it is a high stake decision, highly charged moment where it's a pressing need that you need to decide. That time, if you get agitated, if you get anxious, or if you jitter about what other people is, going to think, you won't think straight. Thinking at your feet cannot happen, right? So then how will you even think out of the box? When you cannot think stable, out of the box thinking is ruled out. And that is why we want to see, okay, now I'm jittered. Now I'm actually anxious. My emotional literacy is kicking in. I'm becoming aware of what is happening in me. And then what I will do, by the time I say, okay, now I'm anxious, either people are listening to me, the person around me will listen to me. If they have some sense, they will consider, okay, this person is anxious. Maybe we'll give them some water, make them feel comfortable, right? Or not intimidate them. Or by telling your own self, you're going to quickly have the power to choose what is the next action. Because you know that you're getting anxious. You're not going to dismiss your own feelings. Maybe others will. Maybe they do not know how to handle. But you will not know. Yeah, you will not dismiss for yourself. You will sit through and at least think, right? Okay, now that I'm anxious, what's the next best thing? You will not continue to be anxious, maybe for some time, but you will eventually find out, right? What is the need? But if you don't have this literacy, whatever is happening, you're not able to even tell yourself. Then that means what? You're confused and you're confusing the other person also, right? If that person emotionally literate can even figure out that you're anxious, even if they're going to say you're getting anxious, maybe you need some calmness or not, or, sit and relax or something, you will immediately dismiss because you do not know what is actually happening in you. Neither will you be able to believe them. Okay. Your internal awareness is also absent and your external awareness is also not allowing, you're not allowing it to happen for you. So this is why left brain and right brain uh, awareness is equally important. Okay. Now, why creative problem solving matters? Without it, what is going to happen for a parent? They are going to feel stuck using ineffective techniques, leading to frustration and strained relationship. But with it, what is going to happen? Families will find flexibility, compassionate solutions that build stronger bonds and reduce stress. Is it true or not? It reduces stress for you and for the other person, right? If you're able to creatively figure out something. Now, what is the benefit of it? One, it is going to strengthen your relationship. It is going to encourage positive communication and teamwork. Second thing, best thing is it is reducing the stress because fun and flexible solutions sometimes decreases the tension. Okay. Valuable skills. Children learn problem solving skills by participating in the process. All right. They will also have fun and increase engagement. It is going to keep them invested in time. At least some time will be passed on, right? Figuring out what is this problem all about. If it's going to be the familiar ones, they'll get bored immediately. That's how brain is, right? So it is important to kick in creativity for our brain also. Either pause, break that routine mundane thing, or give it some thrill, give it some excitement, curiosity. And definitely it is having an emotional impact because it deals with emotion, right? Parenting is mostly dealt with emotions and backed up by logic. Strengthen bonds. Creative problem solving fosters deeper connections with families. And it is giving a growth opportunity. Challenges become chances for personal and family development. And positive atmosphere. A creative approach cultivates a more joyful home environment. Absolutely, right? What are the potential challenges? Suppose you have, let's say, you are thinking only this is the way, and you are like fully into creative problem solving for as a parent. What is going to happen if you're overdoing it? It is going to time consume, right? Because familiar or routine is time saving. It energy saves also. But if you're going to sit and think through all the time, think out of the box, you will always be out of the box only. You cannot be contained within the box. Sometimes you also need break. Creativity approaches may take longer than traditional methods and energy intensive. It requires mental and emotional energy from tiring parents. Resistance. Some children may prefer routine or structure. That is also there. Not every child will all the time be curious to, solve a problem. They also need a break. They also just want to do something that they are familiar, where they don't have to think through all the time. Brain is draining for them also. Consistency. Maintaining consistent creative solutions can be more challenging, especially in a busy household. Now tell me who's going to benefit. Obviously, parents, we are looking at caregivers and families. Maybe, your elders involved in it. They will eventually figure out, right? Usually the grandparents and the aunties and all, they will have their own best practices coming in, kicking in. They will put their experiences, whatever they've learned, whatever is their understanding based on their age. They will get into the role play of they will come to the child's age and they will be able to extend their time because they are not in dearth of time, and so they can think through and come out. But a busy mom like you and me will be running around for errands, so for that point of time, picking creativity is little difficult and draining for us. Okay, and now strategies. Okay, now before you go to strategies, I just want to let you know that in this series you have been watching, we will talk about strategies in left brain and right brain association, but straight away, directly strategies which is going to help you. All you have to do is take 24 hours time to pick up any one or two strategies. If you really want to, let's say you're developing the skill set called creative problem solving skills. All you're going to do is from this six steps that I'm teaching, like sharing the definition, pros and cons, strategies, case studies, whatever it is, you are only going to pick up one or two things that is working for you, but you're going to apply that in 24 hours time. That is when you're actually rewiring your brain, because now that you're learning, it is opening up your right brain and you're backing up with some logic. By the time it finishes, you're backed up with logic that, oh, okay, this is convincing, let me work on this. Now pick up those things which is convincing and immediately apply. Only then it reinstates that learning is already gotten in you. All right. So the first strategy is creative discipline, right side brain. For that, what you need, it is not just about being flexible in order to solve the problem. It is also something, not always you go to the traditional discipline routine. Sometimes you will have to be creative to understand what is the need of the child and that day and age or the appropriate situations. Accordingly, you figure out how you approach. So, addressing behavioral issues without resorting to punishment, objectively and not subjectively. Objectively meaning address that issue, not the person. Okay. Once the issue is solved, the person will also be, able to get through that. You will see the changes in the person naturally. Instead of resorting to punishment, it is important to address the issue because the punishment may be a short gain, right? Short term, but it'll again loop in because the source is in the person. The issue is right there, sitting there in the person without getting fixed, solved, dissolved. Okay. Learning opportunity. Help your children grow and develop empathy through creative consequences. Okay. Now, creative consequences could be anything like a reward mechanism. We all know, we all do. Sometimes we give time out, but then sometimes we give them, you know, sometimes people give cash also, pocket money rewards, or they give them treats, mini treats, right? So that is also possible, or rewarding them to watch their favorite shows, screen time, increase the screen time, or play time. or maybe family outing. We have so many, reward system in our families, right? You can do that as a learning opportunity. So suppose they finish, you know, they grow and develop their empathy by finishing something or behaving in a way that is needed. You're telling them that it is only helping them on a long-term benefit. Suppose you're telling them that, please don't disturb me, I will come back to you. And, if they obey you and then you're going to reward them, you're going to tell them that why have you done this? So the next time they will immediately, if not for the reward, at least they will understand. Okay, make them as a learning opportunity, even if they have done mistakes. Make it as a learning opportunity instead of punishment. Role playing definitely helps. In the first few episodes, if you have watched, we spoke in depth about how swapping the role or dialogues will definitely help the child to learn more about your responsibilities, your perspective. It's not just that the child cannot comprehend. I mean, this is too much for the child. Not for that sake. When you do a role swap, it is actually a fun way for the child to understand empathy or perspective, right? You're going to use scenarios to teach problem solving and emotional intelligence. So it is like you acting as a child and he or she as a mother. What will happen is they'll come out with creative ideas. Okay, it'll be sometime brilliant to watch. And the moment they give you some punishment or they are going to give you some instructions, they will remember. As a child, it has gone deeper in them. Next time when the such scenario comes, they will immediately be able to remember their dialogues or their roles, what they played. Role swap or role playing is such an effective one. Okay, and enhancing your daily routines, that will be the second one. Now what will happen, if you expand, meaning enhancing, as in if there is one thing fixed, maybe you can add a little more responsibility to it, a little more time to it, or maybe you can think differently, whether it is serving you or not. If that routine is not serving, it is a time for you to look at and change it. So pinpoint time management and organizational issues in family. You're going to find out from that routine what is not serving. Now you'll have to find out whether it is a lack of time, it is the cost of time or resources, or some stress going on, some relationship issues. It is costing you that way. I think it is highly important to look at the challenge or issue there and then brainstorm solutions. Not always you will be the only one who will have brain, meaning ideas from your effective brain, because your brain also needs some time. Sometimes you will not have, it could be a dearth of information where we will not have an idea. Not it is humanly possible to know all dimensions of life. So it is best to get ideas from other family members. So in our family, I we have this open culture of just putting out anything during that dinner table conversation or anywhere, whenever we are together, irrespective of any age, we respect and take each other's opinion, right? Whether it is a school stuffs, if it's a fun or common learning that we are learning from each other, like from our child, it could be on academic, because children are way beyond what our knowledge on animals or technology. They're way beyond, especially at this day and age, after the gadgets has come. Their exposure to schools is also way beyond what we have been through. So I would love to learn from my daughter. There are many things I've learned, even psychologically. Her approach for her emotional well-being, or how she takes care of her mental clarity, how she thinks through. Every time we get bulb on moments from her, we tell her, hey, you know what? This is brilliant. By the time you insist, you're giving them the, appreciation. It is like a reward for them. One, it is going to instill confidence. Second, they are going to instill the belief that they can also think through. Did I even say that? Right? They will go through. These are their mastery experiences. So there are multiple benefits when you brainstorm solutions, because um, another reason why we brainstorm is always for any, even if it's a school matter or anything, any behavioral issues or any stuff's going on. It could be a self-talk, a negative talk, blocks in our mind. The reason why we talk is sometimes it is not the parent of the mother only, telling that perspective to that child. Sometimes the father's perspectives will also help that child. Getting a two, multiple perspective within the same family, because we are existing as a parent, right? It is an advantage for the child to know two perspectives, right? Masculine and feminine perspectives. So it has its own advantages. The child can pick and use whatever is needed for that situation. Suppose it's only coming from the mother and it is not coming from the father at all. Maybe the child life is driven out of my perspective, the mother perspectives only. Sometimes it is needed. If it's a boy, then he may not even understand what is the father's perspective at all. I mean, no, as a boy, as a man. So it is important to brainstorm. And similarly, elders, whenever we feel like it's getting too much, the child is like bombarded with only our brains. We always when it is tough situation, right, where we do not know how to guide her, we always depend on our elders in the family. We pull them, we ask them to simply talk to her, right? Sometimes we moving away from that situation also big time helps, because the elders will take care of it just like that, because they have their own experiences, and they creatively put across, because it is their, they see they would have failed to see our child version, so they are using the grandchildren as their children. So that is where that creativity, that fun, that excitement kicks in when you become a grandparent, right? So those are the benefits for being a family. Sometimes within friends can definitely help. Right now, my child has moved to mid school. By the time she has come from elementary to mid school, it's a huge transition. So now she's getting a lot of information. By the time they get into high school, they will be totally independent. That is how we were also brought up. It's just that we were not coaxed and guided in such a way that what has been happening in this day and age. We were left free. We were left totally independent. Neither of my parents know what I'm doing. We were on the roads only playing, and we used to study and pass. It's not that we did not. We obey. We don't talk back. We did all that what is needed, but we still were independent, and neither of the parent knows. But we just cannot afford to be this way in this day and age. But despite of it, it should not be overdone for the child. So that is why you spread out your perspectives. You also learn, at the same time you ease it out, so that you are not burdened. You are not the only one who has to do everything. And it is not the only, you're not the only one through which everything is done also. No, let the ego also melt down sometime. And then implementing changes will also be easy if it is picked up from others. If it is only coming from one direction, it is difficult for you to keep convincing them or pulling up data, because family evolves. Children grows very fast, and their picking up information or their hormonal effect will take place. And we also, pass through every stage of life with a different mindset. So it is very difficult for you to implement change later. But if it is a multiple what do you call, dimensional, input, or it's a brainstorming situation, then it is easier to pass on your ideas to everybody, and then people will come for a consensus, and then it is easy to implement anything. And you're going to evaluate and adjust also later, right? Something serving, continue. If it is not, again brainstorm, again, identify the challenges and implement it. Now in this you know approach, you are going to reframe those parenting problems. Earlier, what you do is just go with only one set of traditional methods, whatever you have been exposed to, the school of thought, right? Maybe we were asked to leave our emotions outside. That is how we approached. But today's child need not be that way, especially girls. They could be expressive. They could ask you so many questions. Whether it is a girl or a boy, they would definitely ask our assumptions. They'll question our belief system. And if it is a girl, they are too expressive. In fact, I'm not a person who don't talk. I mean, I'm a person very reserved. I won't express my opinions that very fast or that very openly. But after having a girl child, you got to be on toes, and then, you know, on the plane of her thinking, suppose you don't answer that way, and then she's going to ask you, are you sad, mama? Did I do anything wrong? That will have an emotional impact on the child. If you have such a child who's expressive, just give me a comment box, give me a smiley in the comment box. You will understand what I'm saying. So I had to literally turn myself towards her, inclining towards her emotional impact. By doing so, I must have been driven by emotion only. So many times my logic could have been backed up but not been led, because it is, that time the child needs your emotional support more than your discipline or more than your logic and data. So in this series, what you will, on in that kind of a situation, for you to identify the challenge is critical, because you need to recognize the specific issue at hand, even though you are emotionally driven. Sometimes I have even lost my identity. I would, because the blend of logic and emotion were not there. There could be many intensive situations where we moved from one country to another. It is very new for the child also. It is very new for us also. By the time we want to settle down, we would have gone through a lot of things. And on that sense, assessing the problem or seeing the problem as problem is not an easy task. And that is why you need to have these tools like, critical thinking, reframing, creative thinking. Sometimes it has to be within us, and sometimes it from outside. You definitely need support. And that is lacking here in this part of the world. And I think any nuclear family, it is that is how it is. So we have to equip ourselves. So shifting perspective, looking for potential benefits or learning opportunity in the situation. Brainstorming positive, as we just said, and create action plan. Like, for example, if the child is having an issue with the vegetables, like nutrition, vegetables, always tantrums. No child will have a proper vegetables intake. So you're going to figure out how you're going to turn that as a lesson for healthy eating. Okay. In my case, I let my child roll chapatis earlier, when she was young itself, and then ask her to make some smoothie. And then I'll make a video out of it. So by the time when she was doing smoothie, ingredients and all that, she knows what kind of ingredients she should pick up, because she's going to tell that in video. And I'll tell her very clearly, this is a nutritional video. It cannot be nutritional smoothie. It cannot be a junk smoothie video that I'm going to do. So she will immediately think through, is it good? Adding milk or adding sugar this much is good or not? Adding flavors is good or not? All that she will think through, and then she'll pick up a recipe. This is one way to do it. There are many moms who do differently using flashcards and all that. It is up to you based on your time, and then, bandwidth that you have. You can inculcate so many things creatively. And there are huge ideas, a huge list of ideas in the Google, that so many people, so many moms have become a parent coach, because they would have gone through so many things that would have helped their parenting really well. And creative meals, again, that is again colorful, nutritious, making their plate. Even though we make it very colorful, the tantrums remains the same. So you need to creatively think as to how you can give that ownership to them. Okay, this is one secret that I can share with you. Principally, if you can let the ownership to them, then they will eventually understand. Sometimes in my case, my one of my friends had her daughter, or child, a son. She was telling me that they had to go through gut problems, for a long time. So the child had really suffered. So that suffering is a learning for the child. Every time the mother will, just recall that those incidents, and the child will immediately buckle up. No, I'm not going to eat this junk. I will listen to what my mom say, because I also need nutrition. By the time they grow, they will listen. They will know the importance of it. Or the parent would have played reverse psychology. Sometimes it hugely help. It helped me when I was a child. My mom always uses reverse psychology. She will simply say, if you don't eat, this is what will happen. No, that's all. Nobody will take care of you. All that. But it may not be. I was always brought up tough because I was the last one in my family out of the three siblings, three children. So for me, I needed a different attention, different mechanism. So I was always brought up tough, and being being tough on me, and I became very obedient. So I obey. I naturally pick up all this, nutrition effect. I used to be really very good with vegetables. I have My parent never had any problem with me. But initially, when they have to teach me something, she uses reverse psychology. And with me also in my family, it really works. This is another secret. Okay. How many of you have secrets like this? Secret weapon. Give me the, one or two weapons that you use in your parenting in the comment box. Involving children in problem solving, we just said. But in detail, you're going to ask them the input. Encourage your children to share their ideas for solving family challenges. There were many times I have discussed many intense moments with my child. I mean, she was more of a second mother to me because in this part of the world, we don't have anybody to speak with because there is a time zone clash. There's a lot of time that people worry a lot, so we don't share much of the things. So only within us, we tend to talk. So, make use of it, but let it not be overfed to the child because that will create some intense emotions in them. Brainstorming together is a wonderful thing, and implementing ideas together. Okay, put your children's suggestions first, and then make sure if it is an action, then they will also have the ownership. Reflect and improve. Sometimes you can even tell them, okay, this seems to be the earlier idea was very good. So why don't we do something like that next time? That way you reflect and at the same time be encouraging. Using humor and play is something that we found out. Um, it recently started working. Earlier, the child couldn't comprehend that. It takes time. In them, it is different, but after sometimes it has to be demonstrated by the from the parents. We have to model it. Suppose we don't laugh at all, the child will not know how to laugh. Suppose we don't let's say um, we don't share fun stories, right? Then the child will not do that because they only mirror us. So we need to instigate all that. We need to allow it to happen. We need to be able to diffuse the tension by using some or the other mechanisms, especially with humor and play. Okay, turning problems into games, playful activities to reduce stress, engaging children in solving problems, appealing for kids, cleaning games. These are some examples. Okay, but principally, I'm sorry, principally exposing them to humor at the young age itself. That's the best thing that happened to us when we were child. We were surrounded by elders, the teenagers, all annas and akkas. They were all in their brimming youth and laughing and got teasing one person the other. So when we were brought up in such a way that I was never sensitive towards anybody teasing me, neither was I playing only defensive. But today, when we look at the children, all children, irrespective of any age, they immediately become sensitive. Even the adults cannot rewire because it's so that they have been only working and exposure or right association is not there. So they have gone case unless and until something hit in their life and they are going to come back, right? But now in the social media exposure, I think everybody is tuning on to many, motivation and then humor and all that. But without this gadget, we were full lively. We interact with people, we laughed our gut out, we like to have that excitement to meet those people. They stay in our hearts even now, fresh and live, right? So it is important to bring that liveliness and freshness and then the innocence, the positivity in our child also, in our children, making sure that they are not too extremely sensitive, extremely defensive, because that's not life, right? I mean, they need to know, they need to let go, they need to accept, they need to give in. Only then the friendship can form. There's no absolutely no friendly conversations happening within the adults also, neither with the children. Every time FOMO or fighting for their entitlement, So it's very important as parents, we have to bring this element in a family. Letting go, sharing, humor, playing, you know, physical instances like tickling and all that should be part of parenting. Okay. Breaking down problems into steps, this has been the one which is continuously is a strategy that we are using for many skills now. By now, if you have been listening to these episodes, you know it is one of the skill that one of the talent that you have to start using it. You should be able to identify the complex challenge and break it down, like schoolwork, or it is emotional issues, or it is eating issues, or sleeping issues, screen time issues, friendship issues, or bodily issues. You need to be able to find problems, right? Then break it down, tackle them one by one, and celebrate progress. If the child has gone through some instructions from you and you guys have arrived at some results, appreciate the fact that the child has listened to you, and you ask them to celebrate it. You celebrate it for them. And you're going to model problem solving. You're going to lead by example. Show them how you creatively solve problems in daily life. Not just showing the games. It is also about life problems, right? When you are driving in traffic, or when signal comes, tell them, you know what? That person had bypassed, which is wrong. What we have to do is stay till it turns green. No matter what incident, it could be even simple things. Just communicate. By observing, they learn a lot. But your silence cannot construe their learning. That could be heavy for children. I'm talking about elementary, mid school. By the time they go to high school, they are independent. And, silence means many things at that age. Okay. Sometimes they need a silence because maybe we're constantly, telling them what to do. They need silence. So different age, uh, different strokes for different kids. Thinking loud, verbalize your problem solving process to teach critical thinking. Tell them as you solve. It's so simple, right? When we are cooking, I have listened to my grandmother. She will give me instructions. This is what it is. This is why we do, add these ingredients without me asking so. Sometimes out of curiosity, I may ask, but then they will teach as they do. That is a knack. Even while folding clothes, right? They teach even without asked. So that is our beauty of elders in our family. Family involvement include everyone in the brainstorming solutions by nature. Naturally, you need to involve everybody, whether they like it or not. If you see somebody is present in that situation, asking them is no harm. What if some brilliance comes out of it? Perspectives, right? Multiple perspectives. And by asking them, you are actually including them. It is by nature, it is like an encouraging or lending a courtesy. So it's the same thing that you have to do with your active family members. Evaluating options becomes effective. Okay. Without options, decision making is not effective. All right. Then you're going to celebrate wins. You're going to recognize efforts, whether it is small or big. Then progress. It's not that they have to finish, they have to get it 100%. Maybe while during, in the due course itself, when they are doing itself, just pat on their back or kiss them, saying, you're doing good. You should be able to complete. Come on, go on. And then reward them with positive reinforcement so that they will remember. If they are able to do, then it will instill their confidence 10x. And you are going to stay calm under pressure, for which there are many breathing tools, positive self-talk, and you're going to take break, right? Because your brain also needs some break. Otherwise, it will drain you. You just cannot keep on working for others and creatively think. You should also creatively think for yourself. That's best creativity is to break, give a break, take a pause, take your me time, rejuvenate. Okay. Einstein, on problem solving skills, he once says, we cannot solve problems with same thinking we used when we created them. How deep it is. when some problems have occurred, because of so and so reason. Suppose we are thinking only in that lines. Sometimes we will not hit that path at all. We will again go back to the same loop. You need to maybe tangentially think or work in reverse order or think differently, or do a mental role swap. What would your father would have done, or your mother would have done, your teacher, or some brilliant friend you had? How would they approach this? Okay, that will give you a different angle. Now I know the little voice is saying, "Hey, I've already been doing this." Or for some, maybe they are asking themselves whether they are already, having a talent on this or not. On that note, I'm going to help you with giving you hints. In the next few minutes, I'll tell you what are the areas that you can kindle your awareness. Suppose you want to be creatively problem solving in your parent. This is something that you expect. I want you to think on this term: child involvement. How creatively are you involving your child, engaging your child? Playful solutions. And then flexible thinker. Are you very rigidly following the discipline, or you're bringing multiple perspectives and some flexibility in order to fix any routine? Then are you having the capacity to break down the problems, make it simplified? Are you a person who is engaging, showing them hands on in problem solving so that they can demonstrate? So what are the ways that you are, celebrating? What could be the ways? What could be the ways to harness humor and play? And what are the learning and growth opportunities can you really find out from this? If you are thinking strategies and tips and tools for all this, there is a way that you can access awareness quiz bundles, where I will ask you questions and also give you multiple options. Now, every time I post this, awareness quiz bundles in earlier skills, that is for you to pick up the right answer with a lot of other tricky multiple answers. But for this skill, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up all these headings that I just spoke. I will give you two, three tips for you. With that, you can directly go and implement it in your parenting. You'll become a creative problem solver. How is that for you? So you don't have to run around for anything. I'll give you tips at the you know, same time when you're picking up these topics. So it is coming on to you with awareness quiz bundles in the name of creative problem solving tips. Okay. If you have been listening to the previous episode, you know how to access this. You know how, right? But today, what I will ask you to do is I want you to share your experience. I want you to tell us which secret weapon is actually helping you in your parenting for creative problem solving. It could be something that you have been using, which is really helping. It could be a toddler, or it could be a mid school or high school. Tell me one secret weapon which is helping you in your problem solving. Okay. Like creatively. It is not something which is available in Google search or ChatGPT. It is your experience. In my case, I told you what is my weapons, right? If you're not right now aware of it, I want you to go through this episode again to see. There are three secret weapons I've shared. So similarly, like you, what are your secret weapons? I'll be more than happy to read that comment, and I'll pick you as winner. I'll give you this entire bundle free of cost. So for 100 days, 100 topics, 30 to 40 skills, we would be discussing on quiz and tips. So it is all coming on to you free of cost. You will register, and then it'll be sent to you on your email ID. Okay. But I want to see your tips. I'll pick up you as a winner and give it to you free of cost. 100% free coupon code. After that, you can access this for free. Right. I also invite you to join my mom's community, where we share a lot of, we network with moms across USA, Canada, Mexico for now. And of course, Indian moms are also there, but in a different time zone. The reason why we have formed this very organic is to talk. We started discussing about a lot of things like security, education, recipes, vacation, extracurricular activities, so many things. And then we also ventured into education topics for women, and hence this kind of a series. So you may be one of them who from my mom's community watching there. Give me a hi, hello. But if you are new watching this, I would invite you to my mom's community. There is a link for my group WhatsApp community that I will give you. It is a community channel, not the exact group. But if you want to participate that, you will have to be either part of USA or Canada or Mexico, or India separately, right? I'll give you that link. You'll go through few steps, register yourself, and then I'll put you in. This is exclusive only for moms, and there is no promotion activity going on. It is fully, either you have products for kids or for your own self that something is working for you, then you can offer this. There is a clear cut rules that it is not a spamming platform at all. We have been organically maintaining, and even if it's a few numbers, we know what we are doing inside. Okay. Apart from that, there are resources like YouTube Live. I'm coming on YouTube Live for the next 100 days. Make use of my channel. There are a lot of other free resources. I'm registering, recording this same topic as a podcast coming on to you 20-30 minutes with a different strategy. And I'm also teaching you emotional intelligence for moms in a very storyfied format. Each skill will be given to you in a storyfied format in Substack as an article, sometimes as a reel. So enjoy all that free resources coming on to you. Subscribe to my YouTube, Spotify, and Substack. All the links will be given in the description. But if you are the one who wants to dwell in more to understand how can you be emotionally intelligent parent, dwelling on to all these skills deeper and wider, that too fast tracking. You don't have to wait till I complete the 100 days. You can get inside the masterclass where I will open up 3 secrets to approach your left brain and right brain. From there, I'll also give you a sample report, how you can pull up your report and then can see concretely which one is actually working for you and which one is not working for you. Right? From there on, we will quickly set your goals, and I will be working with you to ensure that you are becoming emotionally intelligent on a fast track. Okay. I'll tell you those secrets when you come and attend my masterclass only for women, and it is happening. The link is given there. Please register. It will tell you when it is happening. Okay. That is, webinar is totally free. And after that, what's going to happen, how you can come into my community, I'll explain to you there. But for now, use my resources, subscribe to my YouTube channel, podcast, and get into my masterclass. Okay. Of course, give me your experience, give me your secret weapons. I'll give you the access to the awareness quiz bundles. So the tips and strategies for 10 headlines are coming on to you right away, instantly, if you register here. Okay. Now, until I see you tomorrow with the new skills, I want you to go through one or two insights from this, one or two strategies, something which you have not worked on it earlier. Okay. I wanted to pick that up and, you know, um, put that in practice in next 24 hours sincerely and see whether it's working for you or not. If it is working for you, come back in the comment box and tell me. I'll be more than happy. Until I see you tomorrow, stay resilient, stay emotionally intelligent, and lead